At the beginning of this, maybe I was more skeptical. As the days have gone on, I'm not sure what I think anymore.
I felt that maybe it wouldn't affect me if I personally didn't believe in it.
So, knowing what you know now, would you still get cursed?
I'm seeking out a curse, a hex, to put on myself.
A curse could end your life. You're literally begging the devil to knock on your door just to prove to you that God's real.
He could curse you with stupidity, but we think you've got that down.
Despite the warnings, I'm investigating the real-world effects of dark magic.
Looks like you have a lot of love and a lot of opportunity. You are going to cause damage to that.
How do you feel after doing this?
Evil.
That must be quite seductive.
That's the power you're calling on. The devil, right? Quite seductive.
I'm going to enter into a pact with Satan.
Señor Satán, Lucifer, presentamos a este hermano. Con tu fuego purifica.
Wyong is pretty much the epicenter of all black magic. People are very scared to even talk about it.
Y'all better not call me at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about this man is dead. I don't want to hear that.
I have this physical feeling that something bad is coming. What have I done?
You're going to have to find faith in this in order to undo it.
Greetings, greetings. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Greetings and salutations, peace and blessings. Welcome, welcome to another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo, Secrets and Recipes. I want to thank my special co-host for joining me tonight. The beloved Lilith Dorsey is with us tonight, and we want to welcome her. And we also want to welcome again the beloved Queen Mother, Sister Tony Val Martinez. And thank you so much to the both of you for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this very special podcast, Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, powered by NONVD, New Orleans National Voodoo Day. Please support an event that honors the past and strengthens our future. Sponsoring New Orleans National Voodoo Day ensures this annual celebration uplifts our community, educates visitors, and drives positive change. Supporting New Orleans National Voodoo Day as a sponsor allows you to play a key role in the preserving of history and creating opportunities for cultural exchange. This partnership doesn't just benefit the event, it gives your business meaningful exposure as part of something transformative. Let's make a lasting impact together. Please visit us at www.voodooday.org. That's www.voodooday.org to become a sponsor today. Welcome, beloved.
Welcome. Peace and blessings, everyone. So glad to be here tonight.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. I'm excited.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Well, greetings, beloved.
I know.
Welcome for joining us.
I changed my profile picture. This is my picture from the ball, Apocalypse Ball on Saturday night. It was the best I could do at short notice.
Yes, indeed. Well, it works for me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you please, if you will, tell us something about the symposium and what people can expect?
Oh, I'm so excited about this symposium, and it's such an honor to be able to bring, last year we didn't have a symposium, so this is going to be our first inaugural symposium. It's going to be, professors and educators from all over the world. We have people coming from Benin, Professor Kakpo. We have, I think, actually 4 speakers from Benin. We have Dr. Max Bignon, who's coming from University of Alabama, an accomplished linguist and scholar and historian about voodoo. There's just so many people, so much. My friend Regine Romain, Gigi, is coming. She did an amazing documentary called From Brooklyn to Benin, and she's going to be speaking. She's Haitian. She's going to be speaking about the connections between Haiti and the diaspora and the religions as it's practiced in Benin. I'm speaking. There's just going to be so much. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, we are certainly looking forward to it. Sister Tony, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine, Prince. I'm doing fine. Was checking out a news article where Trump has named a female from Florida to be the head of his anti-Christian division.
And what does that mean exactly? They going after what, non-Christians?
Well, let me pull it up.
Yes, indeed. I hope you all can hear me clearly. It's a whole party going on behind me right now. North Robinson from St. Philip to Dumaine Street, Candlelight Lounge, Two Buffets Square. They got a DJ. They got barbecue grills. They got the young folk, pumping up the music from the vehicles. It's a full carnival thing going on over here. So I hope my noise cancellation is working on the mic. Did you find it, Tony? Hello, are you with me? Sister Tony, are you with me? What's
Yes,
going on?
I'm here.
Oh, I
You
can
couldn't
hear
hear
you.
me when I
No, I
went
can hear you
out.
now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hold on 1 minute. It's gonna take, but anyway, it's let me try to pull up my tablet because my phone isn't letting me do both sites. But basically this female minister, quote unquote, who was convicted in the past of running a Ponzi scheme, is going to be the head of his anti-Christian division. Hold on 1 minute. And I can read what it says.
Okay. Because I want to know who the target is.
Okay.
And how do they determine that?
Okay, it says President Donald Trump signed an executive order to form a task force under Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to eradicate anti-Christian bias inside the federal government and prosecute violence against Christians, although he did not provide any examples of said biases in any area, right? So he got a faith office. He signed an executive order to create this he appointed a controversial Florida pastor, Pamela White Kane. She's been married about 4 times. And it is based in Apooka, Florida. And she has been a long time friend and personal minister to Trump. And that's from the Palm Beach Post. Now, I never would have thought Trump had a personal minister. He wouldn't even put his hand on the Bible when he was inaugurated this time.
And he said he was not Christian.
Yes, but all of a sudden Christians are under attack. And as far as I know, the only Christian religious establishments that were attacked were Black churches, Black Christian churches. For decades, they've been under attack. But, you know, we always hear about synagogues being bombed, Black churches being burned and bombed, mosques being burned and bombed. But apparently, I'm quite sure she's going to get a check for this.
But I'm still confused as to who exactly would be the target.
Anybody who she deems anti-Christian and is a threat to the Christian faith. That's what I got out of it. So that would be everybody that's not Christian. So that would be Muslims, Hindus, Voodoo practitioners, anybody.
Are they coming for the witches and the spiritualists?
Well, if they're not Christian, that's what I got out of it.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, there's plenty about it on the internet. Just Google it to read the small print. But basically, you know, you got the anti-Jewish defamation people. So I guess now you're going to have the anti-Christian defamation league.
Well, they certainly got their hands full.
And so much for the separation of church and state. So that's another thing in the Constitution that he's just forgetting all about. Now, I've known many presidents to have spiritual advisors,
psychics and seance leaders too.
Yes, their wives. Yes,
from Abraham Lincoln to the Reagans.
Yes. So this would be interesting. This would be interesting to follow and see what she actually does. Does this mean that any organization, church that does not fall under the Christian label will no longer be tax exempt? I mean, who knows? She already been convicted of a Ponzi scheme in her younger years. And a lot of people think her mega church in Florida is not legit. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. And I had got some comments on it where this one guy had sent me some YouTube videos concerning Hitler and the occult and the witches and stuff like that. And I was thinking, oh my God, we need so much protection. We need
Yeah,
even
we
more
do.
protection.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
we
we do.
talking about spiritual cleansing, spiritual baths. What about our houses and our families? And then that made me think about the bottle trees.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
we need to go back to bottle trees everywhere?
Yes,
I'd
I'd
love
love
to hear.
I
Go ahead,
love that.
Lily.
I've always made bottle trees. I'm making a bottle tree for the event that we're doing. I love it. I love it. Let's do it.
I
Yeah.
have one in front of my house. Also, I have one in front of my house. And my landlord, who stays next door to me, sometime I stay in a double. Whenever she's here, she has a habit of putting a porch light on. And I told her, would you please not put your porch light on, because the UPS and delivery people and Amazon people come late in this area. And I don't want people to see, what's on the front porch. And she's like, oh, I just want people to know someone is here so that they won't try to break in. I say, this house is protected. I have my bottle tree. She say, oh, okay, let me get my cross. And I say, if that's your thing, you do that. But all the years I've been here, that bottle tree been doing just fine. But can you tell some of our listeners who may not be familiar with the bottle tree a little history on it?
I'd love for Lilith to do that.
Yeah, Lilith, please.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I mean, they became really popular, obviously all across the South and things like that. And what you usually see for people who've never seen one, it's either you can do the bottles like over the ends of the branches, or sometimes people do them hanging from the branches from with like cord or wire or something. And then you can kind of make them like little goby jars almost, where you can put herbs and things like that in them, and then it grows. I've had a lot of people send me things. Well, doesn't that hurt the tree? No, I've never seen, we bear our own weight, right? And the tree grows and strengthens based on whatever load it has to carry. And to me, that's one of the huge messages of Vodou and Voodoo and all the African traditional religions. We have a heavy load sometimes, but through strength and perseverance and community, we can keep it together and become stronger. But there's a beautiful bottle tree in the Smithsonian African American Museum. It's like an art installation, and it's made of metal and things like that. It just takes up almost an entire room. So if anybody
Wow.
gets to go, and I was looking at my pictures of it the other day, and yeah, it's really fascinating.
So why would it be beneficial for someone and to put a bottle tree in their yard, or in their tree in their yard? And what's it for?
I mean, like you said, it's for protection, obviously. A lot of times they're done as connection to the ancestors. Like if another person passes, then you add another bottle to the tree, sort of almost in a remembrance. And I'm thinking here, for those of us here in New Orleans, we know we can't recycle glass, so this seems like just a beautiful thing to do with our
Mm-hmm.
bottles and stuff that we have.
And it's my understanding that it can actually be beneficial to the tree, particularly when the bottles are, kind of placed on the ends of the limbs, and that humidity and that heat and that radiant light has been documented to actually benefit the tree in many cases.
Yeah, it's like making it a little greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what we're doing for the symposium, is having an Afroecology exhibit. My minor's in plant science, and I'm, the judge of the New Orleans Garden Show and all these other things. But, for me, this connection between African spirituality and plants and things that people think that we do, before looking at what science said or what the quote unquote authorities said, people thought it was maybe backwards or simple to put bottles on a tree. But like you're saying, Divine Prince, it actually can help the tree and create sort of a little microclimate mini environment. We had snow here in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago. Surprise, surprise. But I'm sure that those that had the extra protection needed it, and we're going to need it in the future as well.
Yeah, and bottles, are interesting how we take something that is produced by mainstream society and then turn them into something magical and useful within our practices and our traditions. I love fixing bottles and preparing bottles that can be placed in environments, hidden away in environments. I have certain bottles dedicated to particular people and or spirits, and I feed those bottles. I have a jar that I created right after Hurricane Katrina, actually, with some implements from my housing before I left the city, and then I created this jar in Texas, and I've had it ever since. And I strongly credit it for protection, defense, but also bringing prosperity and wellness in all of the endeavors that I've pursued post Hurricane Katrina. Sister Val probably knows me better than most people and can remember kind of who I was and how I lived prior to Hurricane Katrina versus sort of the reality that I'm existing in now. And I had money in that jar and silver and gold in that jar and a unique combination of herbs and roots and plants and sealed them in this jar. And it has been with me since we evacuated the city.
Wow, I didn't know you still had that jar.
Yeah, I do.
Now,
I'm actually fearful to get rid of it at this point. Okay.
I will keep it.
Yeah.
Does it matter the color bottles?
It depends on what you're doing. They suggest for bottle trees, and Lilith may also have a comment, colored bottles, and for whatever reason, we had an abundance of blue bottles back in the day here in this region of the South. So you see a lot of bottle trees with blue bottles, but you do see blue, dark shades of green, etc. Now, when I'm packing bottles for various purposes, I don't necessarily care about the color of the bottle unless I'm concealing the contents, and then I may go for a darker colored bottle. But in many cases, any good recycled libation liquor bottle works well for me. I try to recycle as much as possible.
My tree contains all blue bottles. I found a lot of my bottles at the thrift store because those bottles could kind of be expensive when they're colored. I went with the blue. I mainly could find a dark blue, but I really was looking for a lighter blue on the coloration of haint blue.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's fantastic. Yeah, most of them are blue. And I think I was just going to say that, it goes back to the haint blue. There's also a color that they use in Morocco and West Africa that's sort of slightly darker. And the reason, or one of the reasons that I think that was used for safety and protection and getting away evil, the pigment that you put in the paint for making actually keeps away bugs and mold and other kinds of nastiness. So it's not just like magically, spiritually, this is something that's for protection and keeping away evil and bad things. Actually, scientifically, there's stuff in there that like just, things that are nasty don't like.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, my porch, you'll find here in the South, a lot of people's ceilings of their porches or the bottoms of their porches, the floor of their porches are painted Hank blue. And, growing up with my mother and what she did and what she brought over when I was a child, that's the way our porch was. And she told me it was to keep away, evil. And she even used Mrs. Stewart's bluing. Any of y'all familiar with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And a
Yes.
rinse.
Yes, yes.
You use it to whiten your clothes.
Uh-huh.
Back in the old days when they really didn't use bleach on all that cotton sheets. And she would make a rinse. Her hair was completely white. And she would make a rinse of the Mrs. Stewart bluing and rinse her hair with it when she washed it. And she had this beautiful light blue shiny hair. And me being a kid, I asked her why she did that, why she made her hair look like that, because I didn't see anybody else's grandparents' hair or anybody with gray hair looking like that. And which she would have been really in style today with it. But I asked her why she did it, and she told me to keep evil thoughts out of her head. Like to keep the evil voices. I guess, somebody doing something and we'll wish something evil on them. Like, I hope you fall down. Those kind of thoughts. So she said she did it, to keep her head cool and keep down the evil thoughts. But her hair was beautiful with that light blue. You have to be careful and not too much. And she would even, as I got older, she rinsed. It was a rinse my hair with it, but you couldn't tell because of the coloration of my hair. I didn't have any gray hairs as a child, so you really couldn't tell. But she still did the process. So I guess she wanted me not to think bad thoughts about my classmates or something.
Hey,
But
Tessie, my sister Tessie Hamilton Jackson is in the house. And my sister Lakeisha Harris. I appreciate you for being here, beloved. Thank you so much for your commentary and your participation. And we appreciate your comments. Certainly you can type any questions or comments in the chat. We'll be glad to respond. Or you can follow the link that should be scrolling. I'll put it up on the screen now to turn on your webcam and join us. I'm certainly appreciating the conversation that Sister Tony and Lilith are bringing to the table.
yeah, so I'm a big fan of Hank Blue. And now that I have a considerable amount of gray in my hair, I might just start doing it again. Doing it for me, because I have some thoughts. I tell you now, these days,
Yeah, right. I have
some
hair.
thoughts in my head that I should not be thinking.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I got the blue hair. I got Haint Blue on my steps and my gates and all of those things. It's funny when I first moved to town, I knew I wanted to have Haint Blue, and my best friend's a painter, and we went to the store and there were two different kinds. And when I did a post on it, maybe, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years ago on my blog, Voodoo Universe, I put, it's Sherwin-Williams, this number, people can go get it. And we went maybe a year ago, and she said there's 6 different kinds of Haint Blue that you can buy now. So there goes
wow.
commercialism, and they're all slightly different. Like it's not that there's one; they're all a little bit different. But I think that's funny. Before it was just people adding their own kind of stuff to the paint, and using what they could, and now whatever, it's going to be on the home network next time.
Well, there must have been a market for it.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you know how everybody is. I mean, I don't have one of these historically protected houses, but a lot of my friends do, you know, like over where you are, Divine Prince and whatnot. You know, you got to get the approval from the association. So they said, and that's what my friend was working on, one of these historic approval preservation society houses that she had to get them to sign off on. So, you know, too funny, too funny.
And Lilith, we're having a ecology portion to the symposium. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, there's going to be an Afroecology exhibit talking about all different, I think it's called at the moment, the medicine and magic of New Orleans voodoo. So all different kinds of plants that were either, you know, brought here by enslaved people or brought here by, you know, immigrant Africans to the country to help us heal and protect ourselves and make magic and all those wonderful kinds of things. We're going to have hopefully plants at all stages of life. We're going to have, you know, some seedlings. We're going to have some full plants. I'm hoping we can have some seeds to give away from some certain things. And we're also going to have a lot of information for people about how they can use some of these plants that they have in their own yards and understand where they came from. I recently did a presentation about it for the Horticultural Society here in New Orleans, and and even a lot of the landscapers didn't realize that things like the crinum lily, which a lot of people think is native, actually it's a transplant from Africa, and there's been a lot of really great research done about it lately. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful lily. It looks like a spider almost. We have them. They grow huge and everything like that, and they were brought over by enslaved people, but they are toxic AF. And you think about, okay, if you're going to bring something with you, you know, you don't know if you're ever going to get to go back home. You don't know where they're taking you. Let's take this thing that we can plant in the ground and it'll look really pretty and everyone will want to plant them, but it's also toxic. And if we need it for protection, we have it.
I discovered decades ago here in New Orleans that there was so much vegetation that people treat as weeds that just grow everywhere, that had clearly a purpose that our ancestors understood, either for medicine, dietary, healing, or for doing work. One of those common plants is that purple heart wandering Jew, which is absolutely everywhere in the city. And most people don't realize that almost the entire plant is edible. It has components in it that are said to fight against conditions like Alzheimer's and promote mental clarity. But it's absolutely everywhere, and you just cannot convince me that our people did not know what these plants were and how to use them. They're just too prolific in the city. I could eat off just walking from neighborhood to neighborhood in New Orleans, just based on my own memory of where the food is growing. Citrus trees, banana trees, kumquat trees of various varieties, and certainly plants and herbs that are indeed edible and medicinal.
Yeah, definitely. I was just writing up some of the stuff for the Afroecology exhibit, and it was talking about the date palm, right? And we think of that as something, yeah, we can eat dates and things like that, but it's also for strength and endurance and perseverance. And think about, like, again, these are things that we need today and our ancestors needed, and that's why they brought them here. And it's, I apologize if we don't have a giant date palm. I'm going to try and get one, but I bought some seeds, and then I read how to germinate them, and it says put them in a closet for 3 months. So we'll see. It's got a little teeny sprout finally. So we'll see what I get in time for the symposium. But things like that are just fascinating to me, that this is stuff that, again, that we knew so long ago, and we still know it somewhere almost in our DNA, right? Like, we know, a friend of mine told me cleavers, which grow, I thought it was a weed. I thought it was a sticky weed that you got stuck to you all the time. And my friend just told me It's a great lymph cleanser. Again, seek your doctor's advice. Don't just take my word for it. But it is something that's been used traditionally to just make sure that we were cleansing our body of toxins. There's so much toxins in our environment right now. And if we look around, everything that we need is right there to help us.
I remember my mother we used to have to go get weeds, quote unquote, picking when we went out fishing and in the swamp areas and getting stuff. And I'm just thinking about, I have forgotten so many of them and what they were used for. But the one I do remember was cattle nine tail. I used to love to go get cattle nine tail because I just like the way they look. And that was used for cuts that bled. You would put it on there. It was kind of like a bandage to stop the bleeding. If we were out in the bayou areas and cut ourselves on a root or a tree or something out there, and we get that and put it on there to stop the bleeding because we didn't have Band-Aids.
That's fascinating. I never heard that. I've heard plantain, which grows wild everywhere. You can do that too.
Yeah, cattle nine tail, the brown. When you pull it apart, it's kind of like cotton.
Yes.
It's kind of like a cottony feel, and you could like put antiseptic or something on it and, stick it to wherever the wound is, and it'll hold it and it would stop the bleeding. Now, I'm not talking about a massive injury like a stab or something, but just like, when you get one of those cuts and you say, why won't it stop bleeding? And of course, the always ever popular when we were fishing, getting a hook stuck in your finger somewhere and looked like that would never stop bleeding when you got it out. It always just went just in that right vein. It would find a vein to stick in, but that's the one that's really endeared to me, that when we would go out. And the one I hated the most was trying to catch turtles for leeches.
Yes, indeed.
When I got that order, you know how the kids stump their feet and spin around in a circle? Oh man, no, mama. That's what I would be thinking in my head, because I sure better not do it for real. But oh Lord, that was awful. That was terrible. That was terrible. But it served the purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They still put leeches on people. I had my finger cut off once almost, and they were like, we're going to put leeches on it. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'll suffer. It's fine.
And maggots.
Yes, maggots are good for you too. Who knew?
My mom had a friend, an older friend. I can't remember if it was simply a good friend or an older relative, who I've come to learn today probably had ulcers on her feet and legs from diabetes, and they wouldn't heal. And she would come to my mom, and my mom made leeches and made maggots in mason jars. And she would take tweezers and put the live maggots on the wound, and then wrap the wound in like a cheesecloth, a fine cloth wrapping. And it didn't bother me then, but I think now as an adult, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
It's kind of creepy. But I found out that the maggots actually eat the infection and help the wound heal as best faster. But she always was getting them, but she always came to get it cleaned out and re-maggoted, and She didn't ever put her stockings on top. Them old lady stockings with the garters that were thick. Them thick beige stockings. Oh, but I had a very interesting childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a very interesting childhood of not knowing exactly what I was doing,
Mhm.
what was being shown to me until I got older. If I could go back in time, I would be like, man, I would have been writing all this stuff down
Yes.
in my
And we had
elementary handwriting.
and we had such curious, adventurous minds as children. I mean, as young as 3 or 4, we would love to go and get lost in the woods, and we would taste plants. I remember us eating those little clovers, the tiny ones, and they kind of taste like dill pickles. But somehow
Yeah.
we knew that as kids, and we never harmed ourselves. We never ate anything that killed us or poisoned us.
And
I'm
you
much
know,
more
you rarely
skeptical
see
now.
those.
Say that again.
You rarely see those anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When's the last time you bought a orange that leaked that clear gel, that penicillin? So a lot of the food that we're getting is not real, or it's bioengineered. So we've really got to get back to gardening and having a green thumb. When I was growing up, I really didn't know a person, a family over 50 years old that did not have a garden.
Yeah.
Yes.
We saw some resurgence during COVID. I don't know how many of those people have maintained that new behavior of maintaining edible.
No, I think there's a lot of people that are still doing it. I have my Balbancha Blooms community garden here on the corner of North Galvez and France Street in the Upper Ninth. And we give away all the produce. We're all organic. We're always open to visitors and things like that. And I had a lovely person come in. She was like a housing advocate. Last time we had an open day, they were wonderful. The kids come by, they pick the berries and stuff. But I talked to my neighbor who's been here, I think, her whole life, and she's an older lady. And she said, all of this just used to be fields. It used to be, I told her I had a mayhaw, and she was like, I haven't seen those since I was a kid. Like, so much of it we can still eat, like you said, Divine Prince, but so much of it was just fields and orchards and things that really did nourish us, and we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. When I was a child on Florida Avenue, we had the levee to the industrial canal, and someone just planted, I mean, yards and yards of mustard greens on the levee that coming down, and people could go there and just get them. And after a while, they just grow back up. The next year they come back out, they still back there growing. You can still go there today and find remnants of when that person had did those mustard greens there.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
We had Katrina destroyed a lot of our fruit trees. That seemingly grew wild and out in empty lots, like our fig trees.
Yes.
Armstrong Park used to be surrounded by bananas before Katrina.
Yes. And the misbelieved trees. And I noticed in the 7th ward there were several orange trees that somebody just planted, like on the corners of a few blocks close to a school. And I remember the kids getting the oranges in the mornings off the trees, but the trees are gone.
And
Now,
don't forget the mighty Millerton.
Oh no, I hate Millertones. Oh my God.
Oh, baby, it's not a holiday that goes by that Denise Augustine does not bring me stuffed Millerton.
Don't get me wrong, I love to eat Millertones. We grew Millertones, and Millertones grow very fast, and they will not be trained. They're gonna grow where you don't want them to grow. So I constantly had to be fixing them, fixing the vines, training the vines on the rope, putting up new rope for them to grow on. Don't want them to go in the fig tree. They'll suffer the fig tree, which was close to where they grew. The Millertones kept me working like them chickens kept me working.
Oh my gosh, you're scaring me. You're scaring me. I just planted some. Somebody brought me some heirloom Millertons. I've got them growing in my bedroom until it gets warm enough to put them outside. But
And when you put them outside, please put a trellis
I'm going to, yes.
behind them. And
Yeah.
please keep training those vines because they will grow everywhere.
Okay, I'm ready now. Okay.
They will grow everywhere. Don't put them close to a tree.
No, no.
Put you a nice trellis so that they can grow. But we sold Millertons to various stores in the Ninth Ward, like Pugula Supermarket and Circle Food Store. We had so many. But Millertons grow fast and they grow wild. What is that plant, kudzu?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They kin to the Millerton. They are.
That's so funny. You think about it, though. You're talking to me how vigorous and strong they are. You know, if I was to go buy a seedling Mirliton right now, it would be $35.
Yes.
You know, talk about the wealth in our community. It was right there. Right there.
Oh, the
Yes.
Millertons.
Yeah. And it's
Yep.
something about growing your own food. It just tastes better. The kumquats off my tree just taste better. They free and I grew them. I know what's in the dirt. I know what they've been fed. I have 4 different varieties of kumquat. I'm only probably going to be able to get one to the symposium. And then I have several herbs, everything from sage to rosemary, mints. So I'm going to try and bring a combination of those to the symposium as well.
Wonderful.
I do have seeds. I'm glad you mentioned that. So I might bring some seeds, Lily.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And we certainly want to remind people that we are having our press conference on the 4th, our art show, Afroecology show and symposium on April 5th. And then the actual day of our events will be on Sunday, April 6th, beginning at the river with the beloved Denise Augustine and traveling through the historic landmarks of the French Quarter, I believe Esplanade Avenue, Tomb of the Unknown Slave, and then we'll ultimately end up at the Ancestral Tree, where I will be waiting in Congo Square. Lilith will be one of the many people who will also be doing libation and ceremony at one of the historic locations during the procession. And again, we invite you to become a part. When you sponsor New Orleans National Voodoo Day, you are a part of something bigger than an event. You're part of a movement to celebrate heritage, educate communities, and inspire healing. Join us in this vital work. Your sponsorship of New Orleans National Voodoo Day helps preserve and celebrate one of our city's richest cultural traditions. And beyond uplifting the community, your support also increases visibility of your business as a proud partner in cultural celebration. So please join us in making an impact, a historic impact that resonates far beyond this event. And again, you can get information at www.nondv.org. VODOUDAY.org. Of course, the U is the most important letter, the YOU, and we invite your partnership, your sponsorship, your donations, and certainly your participation. Keisha Harris,
His
being
internet
part of the second annual national. Am I breaking up?
you just did a little second there.
Okay. Yeah, but we invite you all to come out, be a part, and to participate, and contact us about how we can assist you in being a part of our powerful event. We meet here in this shared sacred space weeknights, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, and we certainly appreciate those of you who've been coming out consistently and supporting the platform. Certainly, we appreciate our various co-hosts that have showed with us, and we invite your participation. This is indeed a community effort, and particularly for those of us who are affected by and descendants of the Middle Passage. And it's an opportunity to allow for our spiritual practices and traditions to gain and be treated with a degree of respect that they've always deserved, but also an opportunity for us to continue to educate and re-educate our very community, and particularly those who are seeking alternatives to some of the oppressive religious systems that many of us have in our backgrounds and our past, and certainly in our ancestral memory stored within our DNA. So this is a profoundly powerful time for ATR, Aboriginal, African traditional religious systems, certainly for Aboriginal and Indigenous religious practice all over the world, and to gain the awareness and position in our communities that often organized religions have held. Particularly that younger generation. We appreciate Asé O and others from that younger demographic also participating and coming out and being a part of this event and contributing where you are. We invite everyone from your psyches, your tarot readers, your hoodoos, your conjure workers, your pagans, your non-religious atheists, Christians, Muslims, Jews. We invite all. We just ask that you honor and respect the space and the history. Please participate in the symposium that Lilith has tirelessly and sacrificed and organized, so that we can have a safe space to share and talk and discuss about the dynamics of what Voodoo worldwide is. We're beyond the arguments of the 1980s. You know, is it spelled with U's? Is it spelled with O's? That attempt to separate us and divide us as a community. We take honor in bringing West Africa, Haiti, the U.S., and the UK and Paris and Europe all to the table for this event. We'll even have people coming from Germany. Not only will the Horn brothers be there to film and document Lilith, but we will also have a team coming from Germany that's working on a documentary about haunted locations and legends. And so they certainly want to spend some time focusing on New Orleans culture, Aunt Julia Brown, the typical documentary type fare. I have met with the Horn brothers, and they're available to you, Lilith, anytime this week. But just be mindful, they'll be here up until the day after Mardi Gras. But they can be available anytime this week that you might want to meet with them in person, or even we can even establish a Zoom.
Yeah, that sounds great, because one of the things I wanted to do, and some of the people listening might be interested in this, for those of you who can't come in person, we want to have a live stream that people will be able to purchase and then be able to, watch the symposium along with us, even if they can't be there in the physical space. So we're going to work on that, and hopefully that can happen so more people can hear the messages and the truth that we're speaking.
That sounds
We
like
got
a
about,
great idea.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Lilith,
it's carnival. Go ahead.
Lilith, in your garden, do you have morning glories?
I do have morning glories and moonflowers, and then we have a whole bunch of those wild morning glories pop up all the time.
Yeah, my mom told me that's where you get High John the Conqueror root from.
Yeah, it's related. It's an apomia. They're
Yeah.
kind of slightly harder to grow than just the ones that we regular grow in the gardens and stuff like that. I know one person who grows it here, but it didn't survive the snowstorm. And again,
Oh,
talking with the Merlitons, High John root seeds are like $15 a piece. So, everybody support the organization. Maybe we can get some High John the Conqueror root seeds.
Yes. And
yes.
greetings, Mambo, Sally, and Glassman. Welcome to the podcast. We certainly appreciate you
Hello.
and your tireless efforts and sacrifice for helping us to make National New Orleans Voodoo Day a reality. Greetings, Kawaii Goddess. We certainly appreciate you all. Late or not, you're here. You're on time. We got about 4 minutes left in the show. So certainly if you have any questions, comments, or requests you want to present now, we certainly would appreciate that. I certainly want to allow Lilith to provide any closing remarks and reminders that she might wish, and allow Tony to give your last closing remarks before we end the show at the top of the hour.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, Divine Prince. It was a delight and a joy, as always, to talk to everyone this evening. I'm so grateful that we can talk about the symposium and the event and all the fantastic things that we're doing as an organization. So everybody, please just continue to listen, like, share, respond, and reach out. We're going to have to very soon be putting together some serious event situation here, and we will need volunteers.
Yes. So we invite everyone to come out and be a part. Lakeisha Harris, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but we certainly welcome you with all your background and history to come out and be a part of this event. Maceo and everyone present in the chat, and those who are now listening by way of Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, EarthCam, my website, and wherever you all choose to post and repost this link for the show, we certainly invite you to come out and be a part. As I said at the top of the show, it is carnival time. I have beat it in sequence and sewed up into the last hour. I'm certainly prepared. I'm on the wall, as we say in the culture, for Mardi Gras Day. Please come out and join us at Backstreet Cultural Museum. Also, the La Source Ancient Hanfor, along with Sally and Glassman, will also be doing the walking crew, Skull and Bone walking crew on St. Charles Avenue Mardi Gras morning. But we certainly also invite you to come to Backstreet Museum here at North Robinson and St. Philip Street. Those four corners will be hot. It will be Mardi Gras Indians. There will be baby dolls. There will be live performances. There will be food. There will be a bandstand. And again, that's at the four corners of North Robinson and St. Philip. Many of you know, just one more block over underneath the Claiborne Bridge, it's going to be packed out. If you plan to get to this neighborhood, you better get here early. Parking will be limited. And once the day gets rolling, 9, 10 in the morning, it's going to be impossible to get in and out of this community. So we certainly are looking forward to it. Look for me in my Kelly Green. I'll be out there. My wild man Joshua will be with me. Big Chief Kevin Turner will be with me. Denise Augustine will be masking Baby Doll, along with several other baby dolls. So we invite you to come out and make Backstreet Museum happy, and come out and support Mardi Gras Day with us. We certainly this show. We certainly are grateful for you for this powerful annual event. And we look forward to hugging your necks and meeting each of you this year for our National New Orleans Voodoo Day. Unless my co-hosts have anything else to say.
I'm just happy to tell everyone out there who joined in on the show, thank you. Have a good night. It's a busy season for those in New Orleans. I know the Divine Prince has his plate super full at this time of year. And I just want to tell everyone that, you're out there, be safe, stay safe, be aware of your surroundings while having a wonderful time.
Ashe, Ashe. And remember that all is truly a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion and a test in one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. Good night and good evening, everyone. And no matter what you do, respect the voodoo. Respect the voodoo. All is a blessing.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Lilith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mambo, Sally Ann. Thank you, Maceo and Lakeisha Harris, Southern Fires, everyone in my live chat, my sister Tessie. Thank you for coming by, beloved. We certainly appreciate you, and anyone that I may have missed. Thank you so much, and I look forward to being with you again on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time.
At the beginning of this, maybe I was more skeptical. As the days have gone on, I'm not sure what I think anymore.
I felt that maybe it wouldn't affect me if I personally didn't believe in it.
So, knowing what you know now, would you still get cursed?
I'm seeking out a curse, a hex to put on myself.
A curse could end your life. You're literally begging the devil to knock on your door just to prove to you that God's real.
He could curse you with stupidity, but we think you got that down.
Despite the warnings, I'm investigating the real-world effects of dark magic.
Looks like you have a lot of love and a lot of opportunity. You are going to cause damage to that.
How do you feel after doing this?
Evil.
That must be quite seductive.
That's the power you're calling on. The devil, right? Quite seductive.
I'm going to enter into a pact with Satan.
Señor Satán, Lucifer, presentamos a este hermano. Con tu fuego purifica.
Wyong is pretty much the epicenter of all black magic. People are very scared to even talk about it.
Y'all better not call me at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about this man is dead. I don't want to hear that.
I have this physical feeling that something bad is coming. What have I done?
You're going to have to find faith in this in order to undo it.